regardless of the outcome. Boost the positive energy without one. Sorry about the jab, I'm on a holy field, I'm bearing fruit, but demons try to eat them like Yoshi meal. I pissed them off the Batman like Falcone deals. Jungle full of predators, I know how Mowgli feels. So I got the fire, refuse to live in fear. I can spot suppliers, eating fresh drugs. Call me private
Welcome to episode 260 of the Permaculture Pimpcast, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is My Passion. The only Pimpcast on planet Earth where we discuss permaculture, preparedness, and practical living. How you doing, honey?
Good. How are you?
Good. Glad to have you in the studio here with me. This episode, as always, brought to you by Hickory Ridge Soap from TwoOldCrowsHomestead.com.
Turn that simp into a pimp.
Bam! Heaven's Harvest 10% off with promo code PERMA. And if you want to tip a pimp, do it over there in the Fountain app. Listen to all your podcasts over there, even triple up the speed. All right, so I'm not going to mess around. We'll get right into it. It feels like forever. This is why you make things a habit, y'all. Because what was it? Last Wednesday was our last episode. And whenever I break a pattern on something, and I know a lot of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about because it was just Thanksgiving. And if you were having any kind of dietary requirements or whatever, they probably went out the window, as mine did. Well, anyway, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat right now. If you would, hit the thumbs up so they know to start suppressing us. And they're probably going to do it on Wednesday, but I'll come to that in a minute. Oh, my man Bowen from Thundersticks out there. R. Moody's in the house. Burke Spring. I'm sorry, bro. I don't know what all the rest of that is. Frank Family Homestead, Diane HC, Yeshua Follower. Okay. So, okay. Who else? Oh, Homestead Twins. Pimp and the lovely Michelle. Yes. Hey, if you ever get a chance to hang out with the Homestead Twins at any event, y'all, trust me, you're going to be glad you did, man. Those guys were a riot. And
oh, yeah. And Amy and Ken are in.
Oh, they just came in too. Yeah. I was just
Andy Phillips.
Well, Amy and Ken were at the top of my list because it's all your fault, Amy and Ken, because man, that turkey, we basically traded some honey for a turkey. And I just realized I look like a total hipster in these glasses. I can't be rolling like this, man. I look like the hipsters out there, they all have that synthetic authenticity. You know, every hipster, first of all, they never know they're hipsters. You ever notice that? And then B, they always think that what they're doing is hip and it's unique, but they don't realize that every other hipster is out there doing this very same thing, you know, like the armful of tattoos and the whatever, this and that. How did I get sidetracked? Anyway, back to Ken and Amy. We traded some honey for, I never raised turkeys, y'all, because I was like, why would anybody want to eat a turkey? I mean, of all the things out there I could eat, man, I'd rather eat raccoon. Man, might even eat a skunk before I would eat turkey.
No.
I mean,
skunk and possums are off the table.
I'll eat anything.
I would have to be pretty hungry.
Yeah.
Emily can cook it for William. I'm not cooking a possum for William.
Yeah, I like some possum and some grits. I mean, yeah, popcorn possum a la mode, possum and rice. Popcorn possum. Okay, you name it. Anyway, they dropped off. We got this turkey from them. And if you've seen the video I did on Thanksgiving Day, we kept it. We thought we were going to keep it kind of simple, but every single time.
I did keep it simple. I didn't cook very much.
No, she didn't cook as much as you normally do, but we're going to be working on this for a while. But I was at least smart about the meat end of it. Well, anyway, they dropped off this turkey, y'all. Ken, Amy, you don't know what you started in this house, man. That thing was off the meat wagon. I mean, that turkey was, I thought I was in the middle of a York peppermint patty commercial. I ain't even going to lie, man. That turkey, because I'm like, this is not like any turkey I've ever had before. Folks, I know I'm going on about a turkey, but I'm telling you what, they are not all created the same. So
Thunderstick Homestead said it's the pink headphones that get me each time, not the glasses.
See, they're actually okay. So that's even worse. Thanks, Bowen. I mean, I'm gonna have to, man. I got to change up my get up in here, man, because these hipster glasses, which are blue blocking,
with your pink headphones,
but they're actually purple, but they're coming across pink, and like that's any better. I mean, I look like an Asian pimp with purple headphones. I mean. I don't know. Yeah, not the kind of pimp I would like. You know, permaculture is my passion kind of pimp. But anyway, Yeah. So y'all,
Homestead Twin says, I think it's lavender, not pink.
and like, hey, that doesn't make it any more butch, bro. I mean, yeah, it all comes off. I mean, look, I mean, somebody's gonna think I'm a shaky Jake out there wearing these things. But anyway, if you're new here, hey, Steve's in the house, Judy B, Homestead Twins once again. Hey, y'all, I'm gonna tell you right now, Wednesday, you're gonna want to tune in. We are going to drop some tactical nukes of information on here, and I was on the phone today. I'll come to some of this here in a minute, y'all, but I'm supposed to be in the preparedness, permaculture, and practical living, right? That's what this thing's all about. Well, now apparently we're reporters because we can't get the local media to do their jobs. And folks, some of the information that we're going to drop is bombshell. Am I overstating it, do you think?
No.
No, it's not even close. But anyway, I'll come to that in a minute. But anyway, yeah, put the hurt on that turkey. And so it's gotten kind of cold around here, which is unseasonably cold for the time we've lived here. This is like the weather we get in January, maybe. Yes. Yeah. So it's pretty nasty, and it's about to get worse. It's like, okay, they didn't murder enough people with the engineered storm. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. You can put it on paper too. Yeah, with the engineered storm that they brought through here, and believe me, I got the receipts on it, and we'll be breaking it out here before long, as if we haven't been breaking out the receipts. But anyway, it's as if these people didn't already have it tough enough. You know, so many people living in tents right now, literally in tents. We got millions to send over here to murder people elsewhere, but we don't have money to help out these folks that are seriously suffering in the worst kind of way. And now you just, you just throw more on top of it. I mean, we're praying for these folks, and we're asking all of you to do the very same. I know we ask you to pray for us, y'all, but we do pray for y'all. We do. And I'm going to ask you also to pray for all these folks that are, I mean, they're just in the worst kind of way, and nobody's covering it. And we're having to, even though I don't want to. All I want to do is permaculture, preparedness, and practical living. But I think the Lord's maybe directing my steps in another way. So we're going to continue to cover this, and in a big way. And Wednesday is when we're going to be dropping some serious results, because all the media, Michelle, give them a sit rep of what's going on in terms of what they're saying regarding the water testing and the soil.
Everything's fine. It's a little high in a couple of metals. Everything else is fine. That's what they're saying. And do you want me to get into how bad it is?
Well, no, we can't drop the results right now, but I mean,
I'm not talking about results.
We'll come to what you discovered here before long. But folks, I'm telling you what, there's there's some ladies out there that I have the benefit of knowing. She's one of them. That when they're on your trail, man, you better forget about it. I mean, Stephanie over there at Aeroponics,
Aeroponic Tower
Channel. Boy, if she's on your trail, you better have your ducks in a row. Neethi, the pharmacist with an F. If they're on your trail, y'all, you better have your stuff together, your I's dotted and T's crossing. So it's a joy to be able to work with all the people. That's the one good thing about all this, is that working with so many other people that I didn't expect to be doing this work. But here we are, and I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. So even though it's not something I want to do, but I remember Moses arguing too. So and a lot of others did as well. I'm not in any way comparing myself to Moses. I'm just saying there's how many people from Jonah to Moses. I mean, you name it. Nobody ever wanted to do what was asked of them. And I'm going to try to remember to obey is better than sacrifice. So I don't know that I've been commanded to do this, but I don't see anybody else doing it.
Yeah,
so,
nobody else is doing it.
Yeah, so we're going to have to do it. So all right, so Michelle, calm yourself.
I'm trying.
Okay, don't go full-fledged sneak on me up in here. I mean,
I won't.
Yeah, so try not. Yeah, she may not look the right color, but her name is. Yeah, she can get straight ghetto. She's part of the ghetocracy up in here. So anyway, okay, can you?
Yes.
Little less hood rat, okay. Be the little less hood rat, more homestead honey. Let's have some of that, okay? All right. So, hey y'all, we had a great event this weekend. Bowen, you ought to roll up here for one of these, bro. It's really awesome. We had an event this weekend. It was our first ever. It was more of a mutual assistance group kind of meeting, and all of it. I mean, folks, you'll find out that if you do these things, remember, reach out to me if you got an event and I can help you promote it. And you're always going to feel like a pig on roller skates when you do any new thing. If you doubt me, go back and listen to episode 1 of this podcast or watch the first ever YouTube video. You always feel like, oh my goodness, I'm just not cut out for this. And a lot of people are waiting for someone else to start an event for a mutual assistance group. I don't care where you are. If I can help, shout, or use things like freestanding.com, which is what we're going to start using too. Anyway, we put an event on. Shane, the chef Shane, came out and he did, not only did he cook all the food, which bam, knocked my socks clean off. In fact, I just got finished eating some of it just a little while ago. Beth came up with this. I can't even stand oatmeal. If you know how many times I ate oatmeal growing up, I mean, I said I'd never eat it again. But anyway, Shane made me take some home. I went and tried this stuff, and okay, yeah, not all oatmeal's created the same, especially the steel cut stuff. But great food. I mean, fantastic food. And it's like Shane, every single event he does, there's always some calamity that unfolds. This time it was the weather. Last time it was his fryer didn't work, which had me about in tears. This time it
was 20 degrees out.
Yeah, it was like super cold. So things took longer to get out, but the food was still off the chain. And judging by the people I talked to, I mean, the breakfast fries, he ran out of chicken for the chicken and waffles. Anyway, the food was fantastic, but the company was even better. And so we were able to it was kind of cool. Now, I didn't expect Shane to set up a bar at a church. That part I didn't expect, but I'm like, next thing I know, man, he's got mimosas over here and everything else.
He did say the Bloody Marys and the mimosas would be flowing. He did say that.
Okay, well, it got people to talk, I mean, because everybody that goes to an event like this, and folks, just be warned, in most homestead events, you're going to have a lot of people that are more introverted. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they need something to come out of their shell. They always feel isolated where they are. And when they go to something like this, it's always going to feel like a bridge too far. Believe it or not, nobody ever believes me when I say it, but I'm quite introverted. I could be within my own mind and my own space for months on end and be completely fine there. And I come out of my shell when I'm in the company of people that I really dig. And at these events, it's like there's no feeling out period. You go up, you ask somebody their name, and then next thing you know, you're friends. So that's why I might seem a little more gregarious at an event like this. The only reason is because I know I'm among other people that are just like me. So so it was great. And we're going to try to do them monthly. I guess we'll continue as best we can to get Shane to come out. And we'll I imagine this thing. I mean, this was like 2 days after Thanksgiving, and we still had about 45 people there. So I don't even want to start thinking about what it's going to grow to, because it almost certainly will. And it's like an Isle of Misfit Toys, because everybody there really can't have these discussions with the other people they live around. So once again, if you're coming in right now, hit that thumbs up, and we want to thank everybody for coming in. All right, so we've done a little new trick with the animals, and Michelle, I'm going to be very careful about how I say this regarding the sheep. And if anybody else wants to, a little while ago, we had Jonathan Otto. Folks, you're just going to have to read through it, because if I say what this is, they basically cut us off as soon as I mentioned this with Jonathan, or he mentioned it when I was doing the interview with Jonathan Otto. There's a substance out there. I've said it before, but they've never had a problem in the past. All of a sudden, we started talking about it. And we started using it in the sheep's water. What is it? 1 part per million?
Right. Just as drinking water, just like no issues at all. Just for everyday drinking, it's 1 part per million. If you've got like other issues that you're dealing with, then you increase the parts per million. And also, if anybody wants any information on it, email me and I would be happy to send you the links and all the documents that I have on it, because this is something you're going to have your information printed out, because I think it's getting to the point where you're not going to be able to find it online. Right now, you have to know exactly where to go to get this information. If you don't, you're not going to find it. So if anybody wants the information, just shoot me an email and I will send it to you.
Tell them the email.
Michelle at Permapastures Farm.
Yeah. So anyway, we started giving this to the sheep, and they are drinking this stuff like nothing we've ever seen before. So that tells you how awesome it is. So I've been taking it. And like I said, you'll have to go to Rumble to go check it out and to find out what it is we're talking about when I did the interview with Jonathan Otto. Don't worry, it's a substance, and we talked about how NASA uses it, so you'll know what I'm talking about if you have to go back. Sorry, but if you want to know what it is, like I said, send it to her email, and we'll get you squared away. It's
Michelle@permapasturesfarm.com, or if you go to the website, there's a place where you can contact me. Just put it in there, and I'll just say that you want the documents, and I'll send them to you. I'll know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So Denise, I think, is on their renewed homestead. So they're giving that to the goat right now that has listeria, and they're showing improvement tonight. So yeah, I mean, I sent them a text yesterday saying, hey man, they're drinking this stuff like it's going out of style. So folks, I mean, I got the idea from Mike Adams, in full disclosure. You know, I don't do those things where, hey, look what I came up with. I always let you know where I got it from. I got it from Mike Adams, and I know he gives it to all his animals, and we're going to start giving it to the dogs as soon as we get some plastic bowls. Right now we got metal, and you can't put it in metal. And also the contraindications, I mean, you don't want to use it with like vitamin C and stuff, because within 3 hours of taking vitamin C. Well, anyway, that's what's up with that. And we've been using that in the animals, and it seems to be working out quite well. Yesterday, she and I took a trip. Folks, this is part of what we're going to be getting into on Wednesday. We took a trip to, I can't even tell you where it is. I can't give you the exact location because the firefighters that we met with were scared to death. And we were at a fire station at an undisclosed location, and it was near, what's that lake?
Douglas Lake.
We were near Douglas Lake. Now, Douglas Lake, basically the Nolichucky, the French Broad, everything else all basically dumps into that lake. And these firefighters, there was an incident that happened out there. And if you remember the interview I did with Dr. Will, folks, this is part of the bombshell stuff that's going to be dropping out. This just happened yesterday. So she and I went there, and we met these firefighters, all of them. And they had an incident where they had to get into the water to rescue somebody, or they didn't know if anybody was in the car or not. Well, anyway, the search and rescue teams got in the water in the river. Now, this 2 months removed, and they got burned from the water. Yeah. I mean, this is like, yeah, burned from the water. They go seek medical treatment, and the people at the hospitals treat them. Oh, they want to give them serotonin drugs or whatever because they think they're crazy, or they think they're going crazy. So they reached out to Dr. Will. Dr. Will reached out to me. I went out there to go capture the story so I could tell all of you. And I'm going to give you just a snippet of it right now, but I'm telling you, this is like bombshell when it comes out. In a nutshell, these guys and their families, there's even, well, I almost slipped up and said, I can't give away too much right now because these guys are scared for their lives. In fact, some of them in these areas are being followed around by black SUVs.
They're being threatened too.
Being threatened that they can't or say or speak anything about what's going on right now regarding these streams. Like I said, so we're 2 months removed from whatever went on. So what is continuously happening out here that's making these guys, feel, number one, they can't get medical treatment at a hospital. In fact, anybody in the right mind, I can't imagine going there now. And number two, they're reaching out to Dr. Will, who, by the way, within apparently a couple of hours of his treatment, got them off and running, and they were feeling better for the first time since all this happened, and just with the first round of his protocol. But of course, it's not anything that I could even mention on here, and certainly not anything that the mainstream medical establishment would ever want you to know about. That's where we spent our time yesterday. Now, here was the frustrating part. We left out of there, and not a single one of these guys, we heard their stories, but not a single one of them would go on camera. Now, she and I walked out of there a little bit aggravated and frustrated, but I didn't know the full extent of the story. Dr. Will called me today, and of course, another part of this is an absolute bombshell, and we're waiting on evidence to surface regarding some other things. But anyway, he got with me today, and apparently these guys are just scared for their lives because they are being threatened. They're being told, and they got families. So, I mean, I get it, man. I totally get it. And you know what? I've been critical of other YouTube channels before, like saying, you know what? How come I got my balls in a bear trap and everybody else is over here? You're letting me put it all out, but everybody, it's just like Mark Twain said. But before I get to Twain's quote, let me just say, look, I totally get it. Some people are thinking, why am I going to risk my neck for a bunch of people that couldn't care less?
Well, I think the thing is that they're being harassed and threatened.
We didn't know that at the time. We didn't know. I just thought they were being cowards, but that wasn't the case at all. I'm like, looking back at it, okay, if you're Julian Assange, you're thinking, okay, I did all this for what? And I think he was a limited hangout anyway. Or I always thought that Edward Snowden got a raw deal having to wind up in Russia. Turns out it ain't so bad over there. Need a roommate, homie? We'll probably have to go there when this is all said and done. But yeah, I always thought these people got a raw deal. Like, man, you sat here, put yourself at risk for a public that couldn't care less. And I get it with a lot of these YouTube channels, but then there's the other half of it where, like Mark Twain said in the beginning, I'm going to loosely quote it, but it basically goes something like this, that in the beginning of a change, a patriot man is scorned and mocked. As his cause succeed, the timid join him, for then it costs nothing to be a patriot. Well, I don't roll that way. And I know a lot of you out there don't either. So whatever slings and arrows, because when some of this stuff comes out, I can tell you right now, they're going to try to eat our lunch. But we got the goods. We're going to have testing from Dr. Will. We're going to have testing from Bear Independent. And we're going to have a testing that we're part of. And I'm not going to reveal that just yet. And all of it is 180 degrees out of phase with what you're being officially told. And in fact, Michelle, you've done a little bit of sleuthing yourself. I mean, they're saying.
So the thing with Douglas Lake, where it's located, you have two rivers that drain into it. You have the Nolichucky and you've got the French Broad River. The Nolichucky drains Erwin, Tennessee. You have a place, Nuclear Fuel Services, in Erwin, Tennessee, and they manufacture fuel material for all the naval nuclear reactors for the United States submarines and aircraft carriers. They also convert stockpiles of highly enriched uranium into material suitable for further processing into commercial nuclear reactor fuel. So you've got that going on. Erwin flooded. So the Nolichucky, and that's what runs through. The Nolichucky runs through.
Let me just say this. It didn't just flood, y'all. It was so bad that it took the concrete off the interstates. That's how bad it was. I mean, I don't know how bad water has to be to do that kind of damage, but we just drove through there on the way home just to get another look at it, and it still looks like Godzilla walked all over it.
So you've got that river. Now you've got the French Broad River, and one of the you also have the plastics plants. You've got one in Erwin and you've got one in Asheville. So you've got those two plastics plants that are draining into the French Broad and the Nolichucky. You also have an EPA Superfund site. It's called Chemtronics, and you can go to the EPA website and you can look this up and you can get all the documents. It's all online. So at this site, this EPA site, they used to manufacture munitions for probably World War and for some of the wars. They also used to manufacture explosives and tear gas and another chemical agent, BZ. So what happened? They contaminated the whole area. The EPA had to come in and clean it up. So what the EPA did was they cap all of these contaminated areas. So one of them was an acid pit. So all of the chemicals that are used to produce the tear gas, and somebody else said mustard gas. Maybe mustard gas was produced there.
Let me stop you for a moment. Yeah, one of the firefighters that we came across worked in hazard material, and he did a lot of work around this place, and he told us that World War I, all the mustard gas that was used there was also buried in that site.
Right. So that's what all the waste, all of the chemical waste, they used to just dump. There were trenches dug in this in the site, and they would just dump chemicals into the trenches. And then there was a place called the acid pit where other chemicals were dumped. And there were also 55-gallon drums where other chemicals were dumped, and then they were placed in the ground and sealed up. One of the EPA's things that they did to seal up this site was to basically put a cap on all of these chemicals. Well, okay, so this area sits not too far above the Swannanoa River. Swannanoa drains into French Broad, which ultimately drains into Douglas Lake. And Swannanoa was one of the hardest hit areas in this region during Hurricane Helene.
And it literally carved out parts of the mountain. The water was so, like I said, Dane Wigington, when he was on the show with us, y'all, he revealed that 2 years worth of all the water that goes over Niagara Falls landed in 2 hours around here. So it reshaped the landscape. When we were driving by the river yesterday, it was twice as wide.
Yeah.
The river, I mean, going through Hot Springs, I'm like, maybe 3 times as wide, actually. It carved out. It is just beyond imagining, and we're going to try to do a better job of capturing more video regarding some of this stuff so we can illustrate that, because I know a lot of you out there don't exactly know what we're talking about. In a nutshell, here it is. They took all these things, put them in the ground, covered it up, and all of a sudden we have this manufactured storm that comes through, and it takes all that stuff, all that material down. Like I said, we got firefighters 2 months removed going out there to do a search and rescue operation, come back burned and scared to death to go live or to even let me capture a video. They don't even want me recording or having my phone in there. What does that tell you? I mean, we are dealing with the most diabolical SOBs I ever seen in my, well, I'm sure there's worse. I mean, yeah, only thing worse than what I see going on here is a straight up pedophile. But I mean, some of the most diabolical people are doing this and then absolutely harassing these firemen. And this is just one place.
Right.
How many other places are being dealt with this? I'm going to see what Dr. Will would get into, but folks, I'm telling you, there is bombshell, like nuclear, like helicopters and stuff, black helicopters with no writing coming in here. These old boys, they're my kind of people, man. They go out hunting. They do a lot of different stuff. They do a lot of fishing. Nobody's seen a fish in any of these places since all this jumped off. Even to go out there, there's one lady I know, avid fisher, likes to go out there and do fishing and everything with her husband. I won't give her name, but she says, the fishing hole where they would always find fish, they wanted to catch a fish and then have it tested. Days and days and days, can't find anything. And these old boys out there, not one of them have seen a fish to save their lives. So where did all those go? I mean, what's happening here? Bottom line is, folks, we're dealing with a calamity like Dr. Will. Everywhere he goes and he's doing this testing, he is finding. Now, keep in mind, a Geiger counter only works within a narrow parameter of what's available out there in terms of radiation. He's doing scalar testing, and it is far more detailed and more comprehensive than the stuff you're going to find off the shelf. And a lot of the so-called mainstream classically trained engineers or whatever are going to poo-poo this stuff. But the guy's only got 35 years of, not only healing soil and people, had death threats for the recovery that he was doing in the Gulf. I mean, the protocols work. And like I said, he's already healing these firemen that can't get help anywhere else. They actually saw him in one of the videos right here on YouTube, and they reached out to him, and then he showed up. But folks, we are 2 months removed.
Yeah.
We're
2 months removed. You should not, at this point, if there was a source of contamination and it contaminated, let's just say it was a plastics plant. Okay, that contamination should be moving through, and it's probably down in the Gulf by now. If you get in the water now, that is not a continuous source of contamination. It's one and done. So what is causing the contamination 2 months later? How is it that your skin is getting burned when you get in the water 2 months later? And then you want us to believe that that the water's fine.
Yeah, and keep in mind, y'all, these are not, I mean, we drove 2 hours, ordinarily be an hour and a half to get there. We drove like 2.5 hours and waited even longer to meet up with these old boys. And we thought we just made this trip for nothing. And I was like, hold on, we didn't actually make this for nothing, man. Just letting these guys tell their story was worth something. And these are not the kind of people, I mean, you don't do this kind of job, a search and rescue job. I mean, there might be a little bit of glory involved in it. You might wind up getting yourself a girlfriend because you can say you're a firefighter or whatever the case may be. But by and large, these are people that are out here doing this job, a thankless job in many different ways. And they just don't get enough respect. And to be able, I don't know, maybe one day they would like to go on the record. But folks, I saw it with my own 2 eyes. I saw the testing. We were there with our own 2 eyes. We heard their stories with our ears. And we talked about all the respiratory issues that are going on around here and how everybody is basically bums the word everywhere you turn around. And I'm even seeing the same sort of thing happening around where we are now, because the very same people, I guess it's a reluctance to believe that this is actually happening, because the same people who were telling me before that they were having all these medical ailments, now all of a sudden are openly admitting to me that, oh, it was all in my head. I can't do anything about that. But I'll tell you what I am going to do. Look, I live here. This is my flipping home. And there's people I love around here, and not the least of which being right here in this studio with me. We have the ability to clean this stuff up, and we're going to get on that. And we're going to tell you about how we're going to need some help out there and what we're trying to do. But anyway, folks, just wanted to kind of whet your beak with what's going to be revealed on Wednesday. Bear Independent's going to be on with us. He's going to drop his results over there, and I'm just giving you a preview. They ain't wonderful, okay? You're going to find out, everybody in this region who wishes to actually see it is going to find out that everything you've been told is a manufactured lie. Everything. And, okay, I'm telling you to calm down. I need to pull my cool together, because honestly, I'm about to lose it right here, because it just seems like I can't get anybody to care.
Well, it's not only that. It's the fact that, number one, you manufactured a hurricane and destroyed the whole area, killed a bunch of people. People are homeless in December. And then you have people who are trying to just to help people it's a volunteer position. These people are not getting paid. They do their jobs, they help people out, and then their thanks is continued harassment and threats when they have physical problems from doing this.
Yeah, and we'll hopefully get Dr. Will. I'm hoping he's going to be able to go in it, because, folks, when you hear the full extent of what's happening in terms of these old boys that we were there, we heard the flipping stories where they got, okay, so here's how it works. Plane flies over, okay, has sniffers on it. Then they send in helicopters to go retrieve some of this material. Black helicopters, no markings, no nothing, which ain't even legal. And they're over here picking up this stuff, and these old boys are catching them. And then we had an incident that happened last night that we're still trying to get confirmation on. And if we do get the physical confirmation, folks, I'm telling you what, this will absolutely, Laura Logan's probably going to show up to want to examine some of this stuff. I mean, we're talking some, and I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. But folks, we're going to need the help of everybody out there. If you live locally or even in your own area, if you think, I mean, the people up in Ohio, man, they still are getting zero help. But somehow we got billions to send over here to go murder people in other countries so these fat cats can get even fatter. No, I ain't rolling like that, and I'm not going out that way. And it's not going to be because I acquiesced. I'm gonna keep running my mouth. And I don't know what it may lead to, whether they shut me down. And by the way, if you can't find us here, I guess we'll be on Rumble. Because at the end of the day, I know that there are other YouTubers that, and I'm reaching out to some that I think might help. But I also understand that they have to do it in a more genteel kind of way. So, and there's some people out there that are willing to help and are willing to put some of this information out when it does become available. But like I said, Wednesday, tell everybody you know to tune in. It's not trying to build something up or build. I mean, YouTube doesn't pay us if you think that's what the motivation is. I mean, we don't get hardly anything from YouTube. So we don't make money that way. And I don't tell people how we make money because I don't need anybody trying to stifle our other means of income. That's another thing altogether. The bottom line is we're trying to put it all out at one particular time in one place. So if we bleed this stuff out, this is how people get injured or dead. We're going to drop it all at once and we're going to tell everybody. And it's like herding cats sometimes trying to get some of these folks together. But Dr. Will's going to be on. Pat Miletich, former UFC champion. He's going to be on talking about it. Neethi, the pharmacist, and her husband are going to be on there. Bear Independent's going to be on. And, of course, we're going to be there as well. And so that's going to be Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And that's when we're going to stop. I don't know how long it's going to take to unfold, y'all. All I know is I'm just going to put the information out there. And I don't care who hijacks the information. I don't care what clips you make. I don't care what you do with it. But I want it out there. And look, this is costing us a lot of money that we don't have. And so that brings me to the next thing. We started a 501c3. Look, we've raised probably $500,000 so far since this thing has already happened for a lot of different things out there. Look, just this one test alone is costing us 5 G's. And when we go through the remediation status, we're going to have to keep paying for tests. And frankly, if we're going to do this work, I don't have the money. I mean, I can't keep doing this because we're not exactly bringing in a whole lot of money because we just haven't had time to see to our own business or interests or anything like that. I'm not destitute, and doing the right thing doesn't mean you keep a job. So, I mean, at the end of the day, to obey is better than sacrificing. So this is where I feel like I need to be. And the cool thing is we do have remediation strategies. That's where I've been doing a lot of work. I haven't told a whole lot of people about it, but we are working in the R&D department regarding some of the compost extract that we make, along with some of Dr. Will's stuff and along with the other things. So anyway, we got test beds going right now as far as finding out which is going to be the best strategy as far as cleaning this stuff up. This Sunday coming up, I believe. Every day's Monday.
It's not this Sunday.
It's not this one coming
up. It's the following one.
What day is today? Oh, it's Monday. Well, I don't even know, y'all. It is the Sunday. Today's Monday. Yeah, trust me on this. I think it's going to be next. I think it's going to be next Sunday. Anyway, I'm meeting up with a bunch of people over here, and apparently we might have an actual site alongside the river where it's going to be a legit test site where a husband, a wife, and I think they got 6 kids. They can't afford to move anywhere else. And so we're going to use their place as a remediation center point. So I'm going to go out there. I'm going to take, and like I said, the remediation stuff, this stuff is not cheap. So what we got is the Living Soil Foundation. It's a 501c3 that Michelle just started, and you started a... We'll have a website, but we don't have the website right now. So I just set up a Give, Send, Go. It's linked on our website. I'll put it in the show notes. It is a 501c3, but it's under a Give, Send, Go just because we don't have a website set up yet. This is the most embarrassing thing I've ever done behind this microphone because I've asked for tons of money for other people. I ain't never asked for us. Well, I'm still not. I'm asking for the foundation because this isn't a way for us to aggrandize ourselves. It's just if we're going to do this work, and if you know any wealthy benefactors that live in the area that feel like they want to stand behind the work, the money will be earmarked exclusively for we got to pay for testing. This is where a lot of the other people saying we're doing remediation. Well, unless you can quantify your results, you ain't doing nothing. I mean, how do you prove that you did anything? So we got to pay for testing, and that stuff is not cheap. Hopefully, when we get a relationship with and we can't tell you where the labs are. We can give you the results, but we can't tell you the labs because the second these labs start getting leaned on, guess what? They start giving us lousy results. So we got to pay Dr. Will to come down here and do his thing. We got to pay for, folks, like I said, the most embarrassing thing I've ever done behind this mic is to ask for money. I've never had a problem asking for somebody else if I thought it was a worthy cause, but I'm not asking for us. I'm asking for, and the money will be used for exactly what we say it is. And that's part of the reason why we started it is because I'm not 100% sure that all of the money we raised before went exactly where it was supposed to. Well, I trust me, and I'm not a person driven by money. There's a lot of people out there that can vouch for that. I don't care if anybody believes me, but at the end of the day, if you can spread the word around, if you can't afford to give, man, please give us something that's far more valuable. That's your prayers.
Yeah. And there's a link on the Give, Send, Go for those that can't give, they can pray.
Yeah, so that's more important to me than anything, because honestly, the slings and arrows we're about to suffer, and I mean that metaphorically, I mean in the Shakespearean kind of way, you know, the slings and arrows we're about to suffer concerning the information that we're about to drop, they're going to come down on us like a ton of bricks. But that's the reason why we're waiting to put it all out at once, because if we bleed it out, then they're going to stick it to us. And if we come out here guns a blazing and we drop all this information at once, then the powers that shouldn't be can't put their henchmen and women out there in the media, some of them pretending to be like Mountain True. I mean, I don't know where they're getting their information, but when you see them teamed up with PBS, ought to basically tell you everything. So anyway, go check out the Living Soil Foundation. And if you can't give it, I mean, maybe you can post it on your social media and help us out there, because we're going to have to raise, I mean, honestly, man, it's embarrassing to say this, but before it's all said and done, we're going to have to probably raise millions, because here's what it's going to look like. Number one, we got to pay for the testing. Number two, we got to pay for the remediation protocols, which, by the way, you know, I've been getting for free. I mean, I can't expect these people to just keep giving me some of the components that I need for free. Number three, I got to make a lot of compost, because that's part of it too, but I'm going to rock that for free. You know, that's what I do. And number four, if we can also pay to have the health of the people that are doing this work looked after by Dr. Will or whoever else is, you know, the protocol that's required. I can't expect this dude to keep hemorrhaging money helping us out. I mean, right now there's a lot of people giving us a lot of stuff for free, and I can't keep expecting these people. They got to put bread on the table too. So that's really what I'm coming by. Man, I mean, this is not a show, man, I was not looking forward to. I'll get better at it, y'all. I just don't know how to ask for money when it's something that we're going to be distributing. I don't know how to do that. I can do it when it's in the interest of someone else. But yeah, so if you know any wealthy benefactors out there that might be willing to help out and break bread on a project like this, I think my integrity speaks for itself. I've spoken out against the people that have raised money and stolen it. Not driven by money, never have been. But I am driven by the fact that I live here. I see kids playing down by that river, and we have ways in which we can remediate that. But that's exactly where all this money's going to, is remediation strategies. There's even some stuff off the beaten path that I can't even tell you about. I mean, like I said, the kid that I was talking about before that has evidence of areas that he's cleaned up with some of the tech that he's come up with. Well, okay, he's willing to cut us a deal to be able to help us out with some of this stuff. So it's to bring to bear anything that can clean the soil, whether it's conventional means or unconventional means. That is precisely what we are meant to do here. And it's not an area I ever intended to get into, but here I am. And I'm going to keep dropping manhole covers on the heads of everybody that thinks they're going to get away with this stuff. Because, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about what happened up in Ohio and what's unfolding up in Ohio, but you ain't getting away with it here, Jack. I will live in a freaking pup tent like everybody else out there, and I will spend every dime I have to make sure everybody knows that this place is as badly damaged as it really is. And we're going to have Dr. Will get into it when we get down to brass tacks on a lot of that. So what else did you find concerning some of the crap that we have upstream that nobody's talking about?
I mean, it's I could get into as detailed as you want with all these chemicals. But like I would
Amy's got me laughing over here. She says break breads so you don't have to fake dead.
I mean, it's all the chemicals used to produce explosives and chemical agents. There's also metals. I mean, it's bad.
Well, and then not to mention also, here's another component, and maybe Dr. Will get into this, and I'm going to have Dane Wigington back on the show to talk about this. Folks, let me just kind of give you, okay, so one of the tests, I can give you one result that I got from Neethi today, unbelievable amounts of barium. I wish I had something to give away right now, because the first person that can tell me why there's loads of barium in the soil, I would give something away to. But it doesn't just naturally occur, especially when it wasn't here before. So I'm waiting for somebody to tell me why there's barium on the ground. Come on. There you go. What was it? Argent Pure. There you go. I don't know if I can say that, but that's exactly. Oh, we got another one in there. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly. So they put barium and aluminum salts up in there. So here's how, according to Dane Wigington, probably the foremost expert on geoengineering. Okay. If you go watch his video, it's about a 90-second video. And I've had so many great conversations with Dane privately. And I think I can honestly call him a friend. And the guy is truly the genuine article. He really, really is, and really, really cares. And he was going out of his way to try to find us a lab to work with, the whole 9 yards. Dane basically put it like this. So when these weather events occur, they drop the chemtrails in there, these nanoparticles. And of course, there's barium, aluminum, and a whole variety of things that we don't yet even know about, that weren't here prior to the storm. After the storm jumps off, remember, this stuff is entangled up in the storm. These particles that they drop, they're entangled in the storm. And as the storm unfolds, well, guess what? Those particles come along with it. So that's my hypothesis as to why some of this stuff is reading the radioactivity that it is. So with that said, we do have ways to clean it up. And that's where I come in. I mean, this is where I had no idea that this is be the end of where I had no idea this is where my role was going to wind up being. But that's exactly what's going on right now. That's my hypothesis, because there's no other way to explain how we have the levels of what we have. And like I said, Wednesday, we'll let you know all of it. We have no way of explaining how these levels of aluminum in this form are on the surface, or barium in this level on this surface. It makes zero sense. And then you will vouch for this, and I wish I would have taken video of it, but have you ever seen bluer skies in your life for the first 3 weeks after this went down?
Yeah.
And Dane said it would happen. He said it would happen. That after they do something like this, whenever they create intentionally a great calamity like this, that they give you, like, I don't know if it's like their way of saying, yeah, we're going to give you a break for about 3 weeks and we're not going to spray anything. There wasn't a chemtrail to be found.
No, did he say they can't do it? I thought you told me at one point he said they can't.
I don't know.
It's not that they're giving us a break. It's that they just
I meant that facetiously. I meant that facetiously. She doesn't get figurative language.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying, like, I don't think that. I think it's that they just can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know that it's. I don't recall for sure whether it was they can't or they don't do me no favors, Jack. If it means you're going to drop a calamity on me, but the point is, there's a period of time where they don't do it. I'll just say it that way. So there's a period of time where they don't, drop anything. You can ask anybody out here. I was talking to Mike the Fit Farmer, and he was saying, you know what, now that you said it, man, I don't recall ever seeing skies that blue in my life. Ask anybody around here if you've ever seen bluer skies in your life and more pleasant weather. Ask anybody. Ken and Amy, I mean, if you're still in the chat out there, do you recall seeing skies this blue? I haven't seen skies this blue since I was a kid. And so that went on for a good solid 3 weeks, maybe. Something told me to record it, but I didn't. And then all of a sudden they start up again. And then now, right before this nasty weather that's rolling in right now, they were chemtrailing like nothing I've ever seen before. Yeah. I mean, like, absolutely unbelievable, like nothing I've ever seen before. And so anyway, here we are, back to the new normal, I guess. So the only real way to get over this, and the only way to really move beyond this, is that Tennessee put in, there's a reporter in Tennessee. She reached out to me. We reached out to each other, actually. And John Willis basically let me know she was trying to reach out to me. And she tried to respond to a video that I put over on Instagram. And immediately she was shut out of her account for 3 weeks. I can't even view it on any of my devices, our Instagram account. Thor at the door, what's up? Yeah, yeah. He said Freeman Fly basically was one of the first people to make us aware of chemtrails. Yeah, and that goes from way back. But anyway, yeah. So Amy and Kevin are also. Let me see here. What does it say? Did not see any trails in the busiest travel days of the year. Oh, how about that? So anyway, it goes to show you. Look, if these are just typical plane tracks that are going across the sky, well, they take the same trips every day. We would see the same trails every day. We don't. That goes to show you it's not. I mean, anyway, they're trying so hard to suppress this information that, folks, I'm gonna ask everybody out there, when we put out this thing on Wednesday, please spread it as far as wide as you can. Make clips of it. I don't care what you do with it. Send it to somebody you know that's in the social media. I don't care. I just want the information out there. I don't need the credit. I don't need, just like Reagan said, you can get anything done if you don't care who gets the credit. Because at the end of the day, y'all, we all occupy. Well, I'll say what Kennedy said not long before they murdered him. And I got to go into my mental Rolodex here. We all inhabit this small planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's futures. And we are all mortal. I think that's a direct quote. I mean, yeah. So that's what we all have in common. So I don't care who gets the credit. I don't care how this goes down. We just need to get this out there, y'all, because we can't let this go the way it went in Ohio. And it ain't going down like that. So what do you have to say on this matter, honey?
I would just ask everybody to pray for Wednesday. Just pray that there are no technical issues, the information gets out there, and everything goes smoothly.
Well, I'm also going to pray also that there's a willingness of people to hear the information, because this is going to be paradigm changing for a lot of people out there, because one of the sites in one of the communities that we're going to work on restoring around here, it's going to be one of the many sites when we get off and running, is this massive reluctance to believe anything that isn't happy news. One of the people that we're looking to work with, they're like, well, we're just going to scrape this stuff away. And I'm like, what? We're just going to scrape this stuff away and we need a place for our kids to play. And I'm like, well, I hate to tell you this, but your kids ain't going to be playing here, man, unless you want to mess them up. I wouldn't even have kids anywhere near this river. And so,
but also they're dealing with, okay, just like the EPA has put out a statement that the site in Swannanoa, there was no damage done to it. Everything's fine. So you're dealing with more government lies. And so these people are like, oh, well, you know, I'm hearing the news is telling me this and the EPA is saying this. They're saying everything's fine. So why should I believe that's not the case? Yeah,
because, you know, here's what I find I've always found perplexing. I don't have a history of lying to anybody. But the media, the government, everybody else who has this long history of pathological lies, I mean, they lie even when the truth would serve them better. I don't have this history, but they will doubt what I say and believe a person who's wearing a suit jacket. Maybe I need to keep these hipster glasses on and go wear a suit, wear a jacket, because that way it makes you more believable. That it's an appeal to authority. That's why doctors wear lab jackets. You ever notice? Nobody ever notices that. Like, why is this doctor on TV wearing a lab jacket? The reason why is it fundamentally makes your brain think that it's an appeal to authority, that just because they have that jacket on, it makes them appear more authoritative. It is an appeal to authority. It's a logical fallacy. It is meant to make your brain believe what they're about to tell you. And then when you go into the flicker rates of the TVs and the whole 9 yards. But yeah, that's why I said, when we drop this information, y'all, I'm gonna get hit in 1,000 different directions, but I'm ready for it. I will do what I must, and I will suffer what I must. But they are going to come after us. So I'm just letting everybody know right now, and they're probably going to come after the other people that are going to drop these hammers. But they are going to come after us in the most massive ways. And like I said, I mean, there's a reason why we got these skills. I mean, if I got to wind up living in a pup tent because of what they do, oh well. But I'm not going to live in this manufactured house of lies that they've created for us. I haven't been there in a long time, and I'm suspecting a lot of you out there haven't been there either. So it's just not going to happen. I've already made up in my mind, and I talked to her about it. I'm like, hey, you know what they do to folks that reveal this kind of stuff? Oh, well. So, yeah, it is what it is. And I'm just not going to back down. I need to be playing that. I won't.
No, we're not.
Down.
We're not playing any. Not playing.
Yeah, that would be able to. That'd be kind of cool to be able to come in with it right now. But man, we had so many other things we were going to talk about. I really didn't expect. I mean, honestly, folks, I really didn't expect to talk about this the entire program. The idea was to kind of wet your beak and let you know, but honestly, there is a level of catharsis. I mean, it's kind of cathartic to be able to get it off my chest to somebody other than just her. I mean, there's other people I can tell out there.
I don't think that there's anybody else that I could tell that would believe me, honestly. Like, the people that believe what the newspapers and the media say, like that's most people, but there's only a handful of people that I could tell, hey, this is what's really going on, and they would actually not look at me like I'm crazy. Like,
I've already been down that road. I mean, I'm over here, I'm telling people from a personal level, and honestly, being behind this microphone right now, I mean, I've definitely got to have my stuff in check because, and so do you. I mean, I have got to be able to make sure the information that we have is as accurate as can be because they're not going to fact check NBC.
Oh, no.
They're not going to fact check MSNBC or CNN or Fix News or any of the others, but you better believe they're going to come after me. So that's why I'm making sure, that's why we waited so long to make sure all the I's were dotted, the T's were crossed. And so when you come out swinging, man, I'm waiting for one of these hoople-headed reporters to get in front of my face and try to call me out on this. Guess what, Jack? You better be mindful how you go about it.
Really?
No, I'm dead serious because I'm just going to say this straight out. Look, I adhere to the non-aggression principle, but don't start no SH and there won't be no IT. Non-aggression doesn't mean I won't put you through a 5-minute flurry of fists if you get stupid.
You can't be beating up reporters.
Who can't? Who can't? No, I'm dead serious. I mean, look, send my mail to the county jail. I mean, if I have to, I'll put my hands on a reporter. I don't care. I mean, if you want to get stupid and sit here and call me a liar, bro, you better come heavy because I will slap. And you know what? It don't mean a thing to me. Yo, you better believe this was going to come back on me. They're going to play this one back. They're going to go find exactly what I said right here, not realizing that it was said in jest. They're going to take it completely out.
You said it.
They're going to be like, listen to what this.
Listen to what he said.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this violent man. I can hear it right now. Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna show you why they call me the permaculture pimp daddy. I'm gonna elevate this. I got my own invented pimp slap. You dig? I'm gonna elevate it just like this on the next reporter that tries to come up on me. And I got this little button in here. You can't see it, but it opens the fingers to reduce drag, and then bam, push this other button back here, and then bam, unleash on one of these reporters. But no, I know it's about to happen, so it is what it is, y'all. Look, I want to thank everybody. Sorry to go on about this the whole time. But actually, I'm not sorry, man. This is what we do. And I don't see a whole lot of other people doing it. So, look, we're just going to ask for your prayers. That's the most important things. But if you can, go check us out on Give, Send, Go, the Living Soil Foundation. We're going to get a website up and running. But I'm probably going to do some shorts or whatever to try to make people aware of it. There's been some benefactors that have hit me up before, but I was reluctant to take their money because I was trying to hope somebody else would step up and do this. I don't see it happening. So we're doing it. And
I would ask you also to pray for a lot of these people that are having physical effects.
Yes.
Because it's I just can't imagine like just dealing with this, and then going to the hospital and they're like, we'll just put you on psych meds. So it's like you're just completely dismissed and treated like you're crazy.
Yeah, and that's exactly how this barium and some of this other stuff, that's what it's designed to do. So, and then we got a bunch of people that are riddled with trauma, and that was part of what I was trying to do. I need to work it out with Denise because we were going to get on here and talk about some of this. We got a whole region dealing with trauma right now, and like these firemen who've seen some unthinkable things already, they got to deal with the trauma of having people in black vans chasing them around and whatever else is going on, and threats to their families and the whole 9 yards. Yeah, we're not going to put up with it, y'all. And the only way this comes to an end is if this incredible American spirit that we used to have can find some sort of resurgence. I mean, we've got to coalesce and come together and not be worried about what the consequences are going to be, because I'm not going to sit here and live a slave. I will not live a slave, not willingly. I will not turn my eye when I see an injustice happening. It's been a lifelong problem of mine, and you know what? It's gotten me into a lot of trouble over the years. But I'm not going to turn a blind eye when an injustice is happening. So I'm going to ask everybody, please, first and foremost, please pray for us and pray for all the people that are out there suffering. But I'm going to ask you also to please pray that we're able to find the funds to be able to do this, because frankly, we're going to have to be funded somehow. We can't keep handling this out of our pocket. We ain't the Rockefellers. So, like I said, okay, the show I was going to do, I'll just have to save for next time, because I told her earlier today, I was like, when I was thinking about what show I wanted to do, I was like, man, it was on my heart to talk about. I mean, everybody's going to be tripping. They're like, man, what's your foolish pride got anything to do with what he talks about?
We might have to rename that.
Yeah, you might have to do that. But yeah, the idea was there was a lesson here, especially with the holidays. And don't worry, I'll recycle it for the next one, because that's the beauty of being able to do like live radio or live things like this, man. You can just go wherever you feel the wind's taking you. All right, y'all. I want to thank everybody in the chat out there. I want to thank everybody that's listening online. Until next time, stay alert,
stay alive.
They don't want an individual, just a carbon copy. You spitting that manicotti, yeah, I'm talking saucy. All they want to build is a prison world full of pet Tamagotchis. Spitting kamikaze, got me out of body like I'm Goku SS3. Woo! They want to push me to the center like a cell. They want to split up at the center of the nexus, me. They want me to bow down, but I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior. I will never bow down, 'cause I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior. They want me to bow down, but I'm a warrior.